Simulator, and I'll be playing through the Fidelio incident today. I'll shut up here, because
Jesus.
Well, that's just a little turbulent. Why are you so nervous, love?
I don't know. I didn't sleep well last night.
Oh, it's been a while since you...
It's nothing. I'll be fine. Just make sure that cargo's secure.
Everything looks fine back here. Things are shifting a little, but...
Damn it!
Alright, that was quite a belt. Let's get our minds on something else. You ever still think about Ireland?
It's 30 years since I've been there, Leonor. I don't remember anything.
Don't be daft. Tell me a story about when you were a little boy.
Alright. Did I ever tell you about the time I stole a box of sweets?
No, you haven't.
I was maybe 7 or 8. I was at the corner store with me dad. He gave me enough money for 1 box. But I thought, wouldn't it be grand to get the box for him instead?
Oh, that's sweet.
Well, I'm not so sure. I think I'd done something at the time and was trying to make up for it. But as much as I wanted to give him the sweets, I still wanted some, you know. So I bought the one and pocketed the other.
Oh, no.
And just as soon as I paid the man, I turned around and saw me dad. Just staring at me.
Oh, no. Did he know what you'd done? Or did you get away with it?
Well, that's the thing. He...
Shit! Oh my God! Stanley!
Put your
Stanley,
seatbelt
look!
on!
The left engine's on fire!
No. Oh, Christ, this isn't good.
Stanley, what's happening?
We're going down, love, okay? I need you to hold on, get in the brace position.
No! Shit!
Leonor!
Stanley!
So I figured, oh god, this game is very dull on TV, so I don't want to go over it too much. I figured since the last episode was such a disaster, the last week's play I did that. I'm blaming it on the game. I'm a terrible whiz player, but I figured...
The plane must not be too far.
Stanley's trying to be brave, but I can say he's still in pain. I was able to secure flawless passports and a boat with a captain who doesn't ask questions. There are so many inlets on the western coast, we'll make landfall in complete secrecy. The entire world is open to us. The entire world except for Ireland, but I won't miss it for a second. We have a new life now. Together.
Okay, so yeah, the last episode, last week's play I went through, obviously it wasn't an ideal game, so I figured in the future I'll do at least mostly of games I've played in the past. But yeah, I figured I need to unwind a bit, just do a shorter video. This will probably be one episode. And I really like this game. It's like a psychological horror game. It's not a single jump scare. Well, I mean, there's a few scary moments, but I wouldn't say there's jump scares in this game. Apart from that a little bit. We just saw like 10 seconds ago. But you know what I mean.
Leonor, where are you, love?
Sorry, if you just heard that, that's my cousin.
Up there. My plane. Fuck! Jesus Christ!
Our cousins are staying over. So that was
No. Leonor! Leonor?
Stanley?
Leonor, yes, it's Stanley.
Stanley? Are you there?
I can hear you, love. I'm here.
I must have picked up. Christ, I hope you can hear me.
Fucking mobile's broken. She can't hear me.
I'm still in the plane. Or part of the plane. My leg is trapped.
Oh, Christ.
I can't move. Stanley, I don't know where I am. But I can't see you, but there's smoke. There's black smoke. See?
Lena. Black smoke. She's still alive. Pull it together, Stanley. Do what needs to be done.
I have no idea why this game hasn't taken off, to be honest. The voice acting is amazing. I'll be gushing about that the whole game. It looks great. Puzzles are where people mostly hate it.
Steam.
It's the main focus of the
It's
game.
good. Got to stay warm.
Yeah. It has like survival mechanics, obviously.
Alright. Better get moving.
It has survival mechanics, but it's really not a survival game. It's more a walking simulator with puzzles. Kind of.
The manifest. We should have landed hours ago. They'll have to know we're missing. Send out a search party. Please, God.
Yeah, so I'll have plenty of time to ramble about whatever during the puzzle sequences. There's also a lot of dialogue.
So cold.
And some people might not like it, but personally I think this game is a masterpiece.
So many islands. Even I'm not sure which one we're on.
Oh, I don't know personally about geography, I can tell you. We're in the mountains, there's a lot of snow, just like I can see. I think I will be still doing these Elite games in the future.
It's too dark. If I get lost in there, I'll never get out.
Yeah, I will be doing these Elite games in the future. And
What is this?
I was afraid of this. I knew from the moment I saw Stanley clutching that tiny body in his arms that the nightmares would come back. They're worse than ever. I can feel Stanley's heart breaking with every shuddering breath. I heard him say, "Don't go." Is he talking to me? I'll never leave him.
yeah, I will be doing these Elicts in the future, and except to cross my fingers and hope I don't get anything as bad as the last one. But yeah, mostly I just want to showcase a bunch of my favourite games.
There's the black smoke.
The ones that are
I need to find a way to that peak. Oh God. Shelter. Hypothermia. Thanks for the warning. Oh, it's locked. Shit!
oh, yeah.
Oh, thank God this torch still works.
Anything out here I'm missing? Spelunky. So yeah, this game just has a lot of long, slow moments of wandering around in the mountains, and then has long stretches of dialogue, which I think is alright. I guess people just they don't know what the hell this game is. It doesn't have a real target audience. It's just a little mishmash of different things.
As this icy stone closes in around me, I'm overwhelmed by a fear that the last 30 years together was only a dream. That I'm still trapped, still locked away in the dark. As I cross this godforsaken island to find you, every agonizing step reminds me that the dream is over. But the pain reminds me that I'm still alive. And as long as I live, there is hope. Leonore, I will find you. I will find you.
Yeah, I haven't played Theories, I can tell this is, I've seen Let's Plays, I can tell it's kind of inspired by that, which is always a good sign. And people either like that game or they hate it.
Stunning. It's like a cathedral.
This is like that game, but it has a whole lot more going on. Oh jeez. It has more puzzles. It has a more complicated story.
Looks like a way out. But I can't climb this ice. Ah, you poor bastard. At least I won't stay trapped in this cave.
This bit definitely reminds me of Tomb Raider. I haven't played the classic ones, but like the reboot series, especially Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is mostly miserable snowy mountains. So.
Leonore.
Stanley, I can see the lockbox. It's empty. The crasher must have broke open. All the case files, all the information. My diary. You have to find him. You have to find everything. If anyone comes, Stanley. If anyone comes, they can't find out who we are.
Bollocks. All this time, I've been so careful. Oh, what now? My God. No, 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 no.
People say the puzzle mechanics in this game and stuff are a bit confusing. I mean, I think they're easy to follow. Just this bit I got stuck a couple of times under the ice.
Earthquakes now. This fucking island is trying to kill me.
everything. So, I don't know.
Another bunker. Shit. I'll never break through that ice.
I can't stop thinking about the dream. We were flying in the plane, but I wasn't afraid. I was giddy with excitement because we were flying back to Ireland. Stanley dove the plane so fast I could feel my stomach floating, and we were laughing like we haven't laughed in ages. As we dipped out of the clouds and swooped in over the ocean, I could see the white cliffs and green hills. Stone walls and hedges divided the patchwork fields dotted with livestock. And our tray welcoming us home. Then I woke up in this hot, filthy room, dripping with sweat. Stanley's still sleeping. No nightmares, thank God. Maybe it's my turn.
So yeah, you may notice, I put the story in order. Dates, entries and stuff. Even though you get them obviously. I mean, that happens in most games, but they give you they intentionally tell it out of order here. It really fits the story well.
Another page from her journal.
Mother's crying in the next room. She says it's because she's happy, but I don't believe her. My father is getting out of prison. My friends protest the unlawful imprisonments, but I wish they'd kept Michael O'Shea locked up forever. Life in prison isn't long enough for him. It would kill my mother if she ever read this. What if Michael ever read it? Would it kill him? Or would he kill me?
God.
Well, the violence didn't stop when he was on the inside. But at least when I read about something terrible in the paper, I knew my father wasn't the cause. But now, God help us all.
I'm gonna try and find all the notes in this game, but I don't think I've ever done that on previous
They're
playthrough.
nice. I've got to be careful.
I know where most of them are. Some.
The summers in Munich are beautiful. The palazzas are full of tourists, so Stanley and I blend right in. But even in the sea of anonymous faces, we have to be careful. Today, I was sitting in the park with my lunch when this young man with a big fancy camera came up to me. He was handsome and stylish, a real artsy type, and he asked if he could take some photos of me. Obviously, I had to say no. But then he said something that caught me off guard. He said that my eyes were the saddest he'd ever seen. Of course they are, I said. I'm Irish. I left everything on the bench and disappeared into the crowd.
Hurry up.
Mother begged me not to go, but I assured her it was a peaceful rally. Molly wouldn't go with me, she was afraid the army would show up. So I dragged Stanley with me. I thought for sure he'd want to be there, because his father was one of the speakers. Paddy Whitaker was an electrifying presence. People were cheering and clapping as he spoke about the end to the violence, a peaceful end to the troubles. He spoke with such conviction, I nearly wept. But when I looked over at Stanley, he was wearing fucking headphones and messing with his cassette player. He said he'd heard it all before. I couldn't believe it. He has no idea how lucky he is.
Right way. Gotta look around some more. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I don't think there's ice. It's possible. It's not possible to break the ice unless you're running to the sandy, I guess.
Stanley took me to this lovely old tree on the cliffs overlooking the sea. It was just the perfect spot. Then I saw there were notches carved into the trunk. I pointed them out to him and asked him how many other girls had he brought here. Stanley laughed and said when he was just a lad, he and his dad would come to the same spot for picnics, and Paddy would notch the tree to show how much Stanley had grown. I turned as red as a beetroot and muttered some kind of apology. When we sat down to eat lunch, I saw another notch at the base of the tree. When I asked him what that one was for, he winked and said, Margaret Kane.
Yeah, this is a bit annoying. Hurry. It's a close call. Nothing here. Oh. You can get in there. Yeah, this game does have a few annoying moments, but I won't say it's anything. Stop you checking it out. Try and miss you, but it's hard to actually get stuck there if you're not running.
First the shelter, now this lock. I've got to find a way through. I don't believe it. Those numbers from the journal.
Obviously, there's something weird going on here.
Still alive. Get warm. Got to get warm. of this valve. Maybe.
Hell yeah.
That's good. Oh, thank God.
Oh god.
Stanley can still surprise me, even after all this time. We drove out for a picnic at our tree by the ocean, but when we got there, Stanley pulled a guitar case out of the boot. I had no idea he played guitar. All afternoon we laid together, in the grass, under the tree, while Stanley strummed and plucked away. It was grand. Then he told me to close my eyes. I told him he better not have any funny ideas, but he said he tried learning a new song just for me. After a few bars, it started to sound familiar, but I couldn't stop myself from kissing him before he could finish the song. I'll let him finish it for me someday.
I found that note last time. Maybe that was the one I was missing. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I think this is... I don't really look that way. So I'm pretty sure there's like mountain path here. Further along.
I don't know what's wrong with that man. Stanley came into Rory's pub tonight, sweaty and out of breath. His eye was swollen, his lip was bleeding, and he looked as proud as a peacock. He and one of his no-good mates went messing into East Belfast to stir up trouble. Stanley had the brilliant idea to spray the Story Plough over a Unionist mural, but they got caught by some locals and they got into a scrap. Rory thought that was a gas and bought Stanley a pint. I told Stanley he was an idiot. What if he'd been caught by the guard or the UVF? They'd have bloody killed him. But he was just too proud of himself to listen.
Path is further on. I think I know. I think I remember this now, vaguely. To do. I have to head to the base and turn the valve up, I think. At least my memory's completely failing me.
Jesus. It's cold in here as it is outside. Maybe colder.
What was that about? Now I've figured it out. Maybe. I haven't figured it out. Oh god. There we go.
Is this another bunker? How many are there?
Where I missed that.
My face hurts from trying to smile all night. I can't blame Stanley. There's no way he could have known. He's not that cruel. He knew I was named after Beethoven's opera and just assumed that I'd be a fan. But it was my father who loved the opera. He'd blast those records into the night and stagger about with a half-empty bottle, waving it in time with the music. It was terrifying. But I loved Stanley. So I gripped his hand and smiled through the entire performance.
These pipes, they must all be connected.
Stanley, are you there? Oh, it's so cold. I can't stop shivering. My leg, it's gone numb. At least it doesn't hurt anymore. I might have fallen asleep. Oh, I thought I heard voices. Oh, I don't remember what time it is. I think it'll be dark soon. But I don't think I'll make it through the night. Oh, Stanley, you've got to stay warm.
Oh, God. Hypothermia must be setting in. This thing. Christ, I hope it's big enough to protect me.
There we go. I'm not sure how I was supposed to do that.
Molly and I snuck out to a party tonight. It was in full swing by the time we got there, meaning all the boys were bollocksed. Well, not all. We weren't there long when this beautiful lad hands me a beer and said his name was Colin. I was tall with bright green eyes and he wore neon-coloured runners. I asked him if it was his party. He shook his head and said that he knew it was my party. Then he turned and waved his hand around like he was the great fucking Gatsby. And the first thing we saw was Stanley Whittaker throwing up in the kitchen sink. I laughed and said he could have his party back. Oh, we blathered for a while and we were really getting on when Stanley Whittaker stumbled over and asked Colin if he ever wore those shoes outside. And before I could tell him to fuck off, Stanley asked Colin if he knew I was the daughter of Michael O'Shea. I felt my legs go numb. Colin couldn't get away from me fast enough.
the door. It's working. Kiss my arse, fucking island.
I like how he's not freezing after he walks into the snowstorm. That's
The black smoke.
science.
Nearly there. Oh no! Oh Christ, what now? Oh fuck! Help! Help me!
Trash probably. Oh yes. Also has spooky dream sequences. I know that's just a teaser, I guess.
No! No! I was right there. What do you want from me? Tell me what you want from me. Pull it together, Stanley. The sooner you find Leonore, the sooner you can get her off this fucking island. Just find her.
There's probably something that that's already this place. So dark and spooky.
I will not be a prisoner's wife. I will not become like those other empty wives, like my mother. I will not be looked after or taken care of, isolated. There is no light without him. He is my heart, and I cannot live without my heart. I'll do whatever it takes to get him out. I will not be a prisoner's wife.
Notes to make sure I don't miss anything. Well, guess I won't.
I'm lost. Leonore, please call. Let me hear your voice.
This way. Not sure which way I should go.
I don't know what's going on with Stanley. I'm afraid he's gone mad. Tonight I was waiting for him at Rory's pub. Rory was complaining about his fucking hand again. When Stanley finally showed up, he looked white as a ghost. He grabbed my elbow and said we had to go. I'd been there a while, so I was in no mood to be handled. I told him to sit down while I finished my pint, but he snatched it from my hand and smashed it on the floor. Rory started shouting bloody murder, and that's when Stanley went for him. He threw himself at Rory, clutching for his throat. Rory was so shocked he slipped and fell to the floor. It took all my strength to pull Stanley off and drag him toward the front door. Rory stayed behind the bar, cursing all the Whittakers.
Of course. Missing the fucking handle.
Ah, yeah. Easy. Right. This is probably the spookiest thing. First, just visuals gets there. Reminds me of Albania a long way. That's kind of the visuals they have there.
So many funerals today. I was with Stanley at his father's funeral. There was quite a crowd of people. I told Stanley his father would be proud of the turnout, but he said Paddy would just want to make a speech. The police were watching the crowd, but they didn't bother anyone. They were hidden, but I spotted them straight away. I had to help Stanley write the eulogy for Paddy, but when it came time to read it, he couldn't speak. He gripped the sides of the lectern so hard I feared it would splinter in his hands. Finally, Stanley said Paddy was the speechmaker, but he wasn't enough like his father to do him justice. He just folded up the speech and left in silence.
All dead. Everywhere.
I wonder why I keep these damn journals. There are so many things I wish I could forget. Today at the school site, my senses were filled with the buzzing of insects and the smell of the jungle. But then, all at once, I thought I was back in Belfast. The air rocked with a heavy thud of a bomb exploding. Stanley took off in a dead run towards the sound. A cow had set off an old landmine, and there was a man at the edge of the field shouting for everyone to stay back. But Stanley, he charged past him, splashing into the mud. I wanted to stop him. My voice froze in my throat when I saw Stanley lift the tiny body out of the grass. The boy's name was Udom. He had been walking with the cow. Udom's father collapsed as Stanley gently passed the boy to him. Udom's father kept apologising over and over for not protecting him from the evils brought to this village.
I like people would like this before, so it's just audio book. I can never say that. Part of the voice acting in this game is it's reason enough to play it against me.
I'll take that. Finally, an open door. Oh, great. More freezing water.
controls compared to what the game's not really pretty step up that puzzles, so I wouldn't say that though.
There's got to be some way out. Locked. Why am I not surprised? It's bloody cold. I've got to move quickly. That's a big fucking door.
Yeah. My dad's not funny made moments.
Ice now. Oh, fuck, it's cold down here. Looks like it's been deserted for ages. What the hell was this place? Some Cold War bomb shelter? A key card. Let's see if it still works. I've got to get out of this place. Stuck in the ice.
So there's not much coming on here. It won't be in a minute though.
I don't like the looks of this. Hello? Who's there? Can you help?
Please state your name.
We've been in a plane crash. My wife.
Please state your name.
Stanley. Stanley Florence. But you...
File not found.
Listen to me. I'm trying to find...
Please state your correct name.
Stanley Whitaker. My name is...
File found.
Yeah, honestly, that's creepier than any.
For the son of Paddy Whitaker to do something like this. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but it's like you came from a different tree altogether.
What are you talking about? What are we doing here?
You know exactly why you're here.
I'm trying to find my wife.
I've done nothing wrong.
Usually I'd say that's a matter of perspective, but not in this case.
Tell me where she is.
I've only got one question for you, Stanley. Why did you bomb that pub?
What?
What's this about?
You're talking about Rory's pub? You think I
That
did
was
that?
30 years
You're
ago.
mad.
That wasn't me.
Rory was a mate. I would never...
Misunderstand the question. I wasn't asking whether or not you did it. Why did you bomb that pub?
Where is Leonore?
This is where it's like, well, it really comes up. But so the same drags on a little bit.
What Wasn't that an IRA pub?
Bollocks. Rory wasn't political.
With all those dissident Republicans who drank there?
Everybody drank there. It was just a local.
What about your father? Did Paddy Whitaker drink at the local?
No.
Your father, the famous peace activist, wouldn't step foot inside it because it was Michael O'Shea's pub. And Michael is real IRA. But then you go and marry his daughter.
I don't want to hear this.
Jesus, I can't imagine the look on your father's face when you told him. Surprised it didn't kill him on the spot.
No. It was the police that killed him.
Then why didn't you bomb a police pub? Help me understand.
There's nothing to understand. I didn't fucking do it, right? You've got the wrong fella.
Frankly, I'm glad you chose that pub. Probably saved us a mess of trouble.
Please.
Bunch of tossers and tow rags, all of them.
Just let me go.
All of them criminals, except her.
Please.
Fiona Miller was just a little girl. You're gonna pay for that.
Go to hell.
Look around. We're already there.
I retract my comment about the good drag on. It's pretty well paced. I know a thing or two about bad pacing. Did I mention in my last Let's Play?
You're the one shagging Michael O'Shea's daughter.
Leave her out of this.
What's she like, eh? I'll bet she's a wild one.
What the fuck is this all about?
I just might have to go pay her a visit while you're stuck in here.
She's got nothing to do with any of it.
Maybe me and some of the lads.
If you ever lay a fucking finger on her...
You'll what? What'll you do? Blow me up too? You want to protect your little whore? Sign that statement.
What? It can't be. Dear Leonor, I don't know when this letter will reach you, if it will reach you at all. I can only pray that it will. Our world is clouded by the fog of war, but in the time I spent with you, things finally became clear. For the first time, I thought I could imagine a future, a life with you. But that's all over now. Sometime very soon, I'm going to be transferred to the maze, and I know I'll never leave that prison alive. I don't know where I'll go when it's over, but I'm not afraid, because I've seen hell. This is it. And it's cold, and it's dark, and I've no way to reach you. Leonor, you are my light, but we have no future together, and I'll not have you wait for me. Forget about me. I'm already dead.
Stanley, can you hear me? Stanley, it's time to wake up. You have to move on.
The dream is over.
What the hell just happened? Just a nightmare, right?
That was not there before.
It's all over now. It's over.
Pretty sure you can't see anything you're seeing. I mean, it kind of looks like the same room. This is telephone's new. All this is new too.
Huh? It's not as cold on this part of the island. Maybe I can finally get my head on straight.
I can hardly feel the pin in my fingers. My whole body is numb. I could hardly see the words on the page. I can't stop crying. They've taken away my heart. Stanley has been arrested for the bombing of Rory's pub. Someone must have set him up. I asked my father if he knew who would do this to Stanley. He just said that I should move on. Stanley won't live long inside prison. I nearly spit in his eye. I swear by all that's holy, if I find out that he had anything to do with Stanley being arrested, I'll burn him alive.
What is that? Insects. Ha! Take that, you little fuckers! That tree. It's monstrous.
Everything is in place, but the air feels hollow and empty in my chest. Oh, I can hear my heart pounding in my ears. In just a few hours, life as I know it will be over. But that's only if I'm very lucky. Otherwise, my life will just be over. Today I'm rescuing Stanley.
Oh, come on. Why is this locked?
We hadn't been to the ocean since spring, and it was a shock to see our tray so barren and frail. As we walked, Stanley wrapped his coat around my shoulders. It was still warm from his body, and I pulled the collar up to my nose to see if it still smelled like him. It didn't. It just smelled of dust and mothballs. Stanley said his father would bring him here and say, "This is why we struggle." He thinks that now he finally understands what his father meant. But I wonder. I laid the jacket on the ground and pulled us both onto it. I just wanted to make him forget the rest of the day. I wanted to forget the rest of the world except for him. The grass was itchy and dry and the sky was as white as butcher paper. Neither of us bothered to speak another word. The cold wind would have just carried our words away.
That water looks disgusting. Oh. At least that water isn't freezing. It's just foul. That cleared him away. Could be a shortcut to the top of the mountain.
Nothing really creepy at this place, it's just
The air is heavy with the stink of rot, the buzzing of those damned insects. I don't hear it so much as feel it. I'm afraid it might drive me mad. If I'm not mad already.
That's $1 million question. I might have caught on by now. Oh dear. This is the bit where the puzzles get a little bit more annoying. I don't mind. Some people make.
There were so many people in the market, I couldn't hear myself think. I needed to get out of there. But when I asked Stanley to choose something for supper, he just replied with his usual, "Whatever you want." I wanted him to make a decision for once, so I could stop thinking about absolutely everything all the time. The bags were so heavy and my hands were cramping, and someone close by smelled like goat. It may have even been me. So I dropped everything and let the bags spill all over the street. I didn't care. I'm sick of the crowds and the stink of curry, and I'm sick of the hate. I want to walk through green grass. I want to feel cool air on my skin.
Those bugs are gone. What a jumbled mess. All right. Now the path is clear.
I'm trying to stay awake. Keep my mind on... Before the plane crashed, you didn't finish your story about the time you stole the box of sweets. But I think I know exactly how it ended. Your dad, he knew what you'd done. He just didn't know why. Still, he never asked you about it. Never accused you of anything. So you never told him the truth. But it was always there, wasn't it? An abandoned space between you. Like an unfinished story.
She sounds so weak. Hang on, Leonor.
I couldn't go to my father for help. He's all for letting Stanley take the fall. But the mad bastard with me today didn't know that, so he did everything I told him, including stealing an ambulance. Molly called us about Stanley's medical transfer, which gave us a head start on the real ambulance. I looked ridiculous in the uniform, but our documents were perfect. So I kept my head up and let Stanley inspire my confidence. Even so, I nearly fainted when the guards wheeled him out on the gurney. He looked dead already. The guards loaded him on board and I drove us away. 5 minutes out and the mad bastard dosed both the guards with anaesthesia. And just like that, Stanley was free.
That water smells. No wonder there's so many bugs. Let's see if that helps with the smell. Oh. Nope.
Found all the notes so far. This is getting a little bit more complicated. Yeah, I think great. Until that's too evil. Far out.
What? That's it? Is that all you got? Oh, you bastard. Need to figure something out. The bugs are still there.
Don't like bugs.
scarf. This makes no sense.
Oh, Jesus!
Not a fan of these threats.
Almost there, Leonore. Almost there, love.
Any glitches that you can walk through the bags now. I wouldn't recommend it though.
Mother Mary, Paddy has been killed. The British papers named it the Boxing Day Raid, but it wasn't a raid. Around here they're calling it the Wren's Day Massacre. 7 people shot down on the day after Christmas. I don't know what they're meeting about and I don't want to know. They were all violent men except for Stanley's father. What was Paddy Whitaker doing there? And how did he hear about the meeting? Was he trying to talk them out of whatever they were planning? I need to find Stanley. He must be going through hell.
This moment of the game, not here, just shortly ahead. Where we are here.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, that's another bit where was
Jesus.
change.
I can do this again.
What was it, the 6? Just the entire world around it.
Oh, Christ. Don't look down. Don't look down.
I looked down there. Looks awesome. The music in this game is pretty good too. But seriously. It's a crime that...
One step at a time.
It's a crime that they don't get award voice acting in this game. Or this game in general.
Theodore. Where? Oh, no. She's not here. Please tell me what you want. I've done everything I could. Everything. Haven't I done enough? Haven't I done enough? Oh, please.
It's really good. Doesn't spoil anything.
Where?
Do you know who I am, boy?
Aye. You're Leonore's father. Michael O'Shea.
You know my name, but do you know who I am?
Yeah. I know exactly who you are.
I was afraid of this.
I was there at the Wren's Day Massacre when your father died. I didn't agree with him, man. I thought he was naive. He called me a terrorist and a criminal, but he said it to my face. I respected him. That's why I agreed to meet with him that day.
You agreed? You think my father told the police? Is that it?
I know exactly who it was. That's why I'm here. Rory Cochrane is a police informant.
Rory?
They turned him after his arrest, dealing drugs at his own pub.
No! He's a mate! There's no way!
Stanley, come back to me.
What do you want from me?
Leonore, I need to know she's gonna be with a man who can take care of his obligations. Take care of his family.
I would. I will.
I'm gonna give you a chance to prove it. So you tell me, are you gonna do what needs to be done?
God help us all.
It can't be. How can it? Oh, Christ. This is Rory's birthday. This isn't right.
Please, mister, can you find my dad? Tell him I want to go home.
If you're looking for the little girl star, he's over there throwing darts.
Okay. I'll be right over. And tell her not to forget her scarf.
This is honestly creepier than the creepiest one on the floor. But I definitely
Not to forget my red scarf. I know. He always says that. I just hope he hurries.
Now it happens, and very traumatized.
Oh my God. No, not again. Christ.
Life is but a dream.
Oh my God, I'm burning up. I'm burning. No. I'm okay. I'm still alive. Thank God. Oh, Christ. Okay. I'm okay.
You can't tell at this point what's
Steam.
going on.
It's putting out the fire. First I was freezing, now I'm burning up. I don't know which one is worse. There she is. Oh shit! Leonore! I'm coming! Just hold on. It's almost over. Ah! Oh fuck! Oh, fuck! Jesus Christ!
Stanley, thank God! You're alive! I saw you standing on the hill. Hurry, Stanley. The fire is coming and the smoke is getting...
Still alive. Still alive.
Stanley and I decided to venture farther into the city tonight. He said we shouldn't cross into East Belfast, but I didn't care. I was feeling brave. When we saw the party, it looked deadly, so I dragged Stanley up the steps. I love going to parties where nobody knows me. I can be anyone I want. I told Stanley to pretend this was our house. We wandered about, making up stories about where we got each bit of furniture. I was talking about the grandfather clock from Borneo when some drunken arse turns and tells me I'm full of shite. Turned out he owned the house. Then he asked us where we came from. A crowd started to gather, and the wrong answer could have spelled trouble. And Stanley threw his arm around the man and said, "We're from Texas, America." And the man's face lit up. He loved America. Stanley's accent was ridiculous, but his confidence was inspiring, so they believed every word. It was wonderful.
That's kind of a funny moment. There was nothing funny about this. We'll get a bit of luck later, but something was not quite right.
Fuckers! Oh, ah.
Oh dear. Can't do that.
Made it. Come on, Stanley. No! You son of a bitch! The fire roars around me. It wants to crack me open, to burn its way inside to the deep center of my core, where I still feel frozen and cold. Shit!
Until now, I never knew how much my father hated Stanley. And the man has always had his secrets, but he's never just lied to me. He tried to tell me about why Stanley was really arrested and the truth about Rory Cochrane. But I can't believe what he said about Stanley. I can't. All those people. Stanley would never.
I'm not sure how much of this is real, how much is just stories. I mean, it's kind of funny because the game just straight up tells you that nothing is real, that there's no point trying to save the day, but sort of trying to do it. It's a video game, so as you do. Billy. Perhaps gone ahead and out the door. Use the tunnel again. I'd like that, really. Personally, I would say it was a very good business. Should have done better.
Hope that clears the path.
Oh, there we go. Behaving in this game if you want to. I don't know. Perhaps you're like me. Especially if you're a horror fan. I think people should realise that we need more of this kind of horror. I mean, nothing wrong with creepy visuals, but...
Leonor!
Stanley? Hurry! The fire!
Listen to me! I have to leave you!
Wait! No, you can't!
Those vents there!
Please!
If I just let the steam out, they'll keep the fire away from you. But I can't do it from here.
Don't leave! Not yet!
You'll be fine! I promise! I promise.
Please! Stay with me!
Jesus Christ! I'm back to where I started.
I still got a decent bit out of the game. I mean, I've showcased most of what goes on here.
Fuck. It's burning outside. I'm freezing in here. It's so cold.
You never catch a break. Oh dear.
Oh, at least it's warm in here.
I think most of you have already figured it out.
Containment door open.
There's one.
Of some description.
Oh shit!
Stanley, it's working. I know you can hear me. It's working. Come back to me, Stanley. Don't leave. Don't leave me, please. Come back.
The valve. Almost finished.
Stanley.
Leonore, even through these heavy stone walls, I still hear your voice. Even as this cold slips like a knife into my bones, I still feel you with me. And yet, here at the end, I hardly know where to begin. The words are difficult to say, but I think it's finally time I finish my unfinished story. Through all our years together, you must have known what I've done, but you never asked me about it, never accused me of anything, so I've never spoken the truth. After my father died, I wanted to lash out, and when Michael gave me a chance for revenge, I took it. But when I placed that bomb in the pub, I didn't avenge my father. I betrayed him. And it's haunted my nightmares ever since. I feel the heat of the blast, hear the screams of the wounded. I can taste the dust and smell the blood. But all I can see is her little scarf like a crimson river flowing out of the rubble. Every night they return, nightmares of her. I see her entering the pub, reaching up to hold her father's hand. I call out to her, "Don't go in," but she never hears. She always goes through that door. I didn't deserve the life you gave me, and you don't deserve the life I've given you. You rescued me from prison, but you've been paying for my sins ever since. You sacrificed everything to run with me. It's time you left my nightmares behind. Without me, you can be free. Without me, you can go home. Leonore, you are my light. Goodbye.
Go ahead, Rescue 1.
We have one survivor.
It's basically a
Patient is female. She's slightly hypotensive at 90/60. Respiratory rate is 14 and O2 stats are good in the 90s.
I'm kidding,
We immobilized her leg and started warming measures. She's pretty blue, but she's still with us.
Anyway, but that's beside the point. Gotcha moment. What's the game? Fidelio incident. Shout out to my book, he's pretty cool. Also, you guys, friend me on Steam if you haven't already, because I'm a bit lonely there. Well, not really, it seems to be, but you keep track of what else I've been playing. That's it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe if you want. And see you in the next video.